The UFC is absolutely cooking right now. Dana White just went on live and released the news of four sick fights, three of them on one card, that being Merab versus Sandhagen, Pereira versus Ankalaev 2, with a Jiri versus Rountree feature fight, as well as we finally got fight news for Tom Aspinall. I'll be talking about that all today in this video. Starting off with Merab versus Sandhagen, this is a badass fight. I think that Sandhagen poses some troubles for Merab, who is my favorite champ in the UFC right now. One of my favorite fighters of all time, Merab Dvalishvili. I think that Merab gets this done, but Sandhagen has some tools that are interesting for Merab. His range, his ability to try to point fight. I think if there's a finishing potential here, I give the edge to Merab, actually. We haven't seen Sandhagen finish somebody since, like, off the top of my head, I think it would be like Frankie Edgar when he was getting like kneed by Chris Gutierrez and like knocked out by Brian Ortega, and like people who should never be finishing Frankie Edgar were finishing Frankie Edgar at the time. And I think that that was kind of a product of Edgar's chin, not the greatness of Sandhagen. Sandhagen's lost to some of the best. Like obviously he did have a finish. He finished Figueiredo, but it doesn't really, I don't count Figueiredo's knee exploding as a finish for Sandhagen. And let's not also talk like he's this undisputable guy for the next title shot. Like he just got 50-45 by Umar this time last year. Like I remember probably like a calendar year ago right now, I was sitting there watching him get fucking ragdolled by Umar. And the other thing here is, he has a good gas tank. He trains at altitude, but also slowed down a tiny bit in that Umar fight. Not anything that's like worryable, but also that's Umar's pace. We're talking about Umar who gassed out in 3 rounds versus Merab. Umar was fighting at Umar's pace versus Sandhagen and dogged him 50-45. Merab fought at Merab's pace versus Umar and absolutely gassed him out and demolished him. I think that that is a massive problem for Sandhagen. I could see him gassing out. I get he trains at altitude. I get he has a historically good gas tank. You haven't fought Merab. You haven't fought a guy who bulldozes you with this ridiculous, like this ridiculous pressure, this relentlessness, this God-given EPO like cardio. He definitely has not done EPO. Has anybody seen how many times this guy gets drug tested a year? You look at the UFC drug testing pool, which is public record, by the way. Um, one test, two tests, three tests. Rob has like 9 tests a year, so he's natural, and this man got blessed by God and his hard work. Let's not sit here and act like Merab doesn't run fucking everywhere and doesn't come from extremely like that. I hate when people just say, "Oh, like this guy's a fucking specimen. It's all genetics. It's all genetics." This guy also runs like multiple miles a day, runs to practice, runs home, always doing cardio, always training like he has a fight. He's not taking like loaf days. He's not like chilling. He's not resting. Merab works for that gas tank. And I think that it's something otherworldly that Sandhagen has not felt. I'm a decent Sandhagen fan. He's from Colorado, like myself. But I just don't see it here. I don't see the finishing potential. I don't see the winning potential. Do I see him outpointing Merab to a decision? Absolutely not. I think he'll get bulldozed if he tries to outpoint Merab. Merab just went in there with for about 40 minutes with O'Malley in the last 2 times that they fought, and he wasn't able to get him out of there. I doubt Sandhagen, who has no power, and what do they say about him? He's a beaker and test tubes guy. That guy is not going to have the power to put out Merab. And I promise Merab will gas him. I think that Merab is is on par with Cory Sandhagen on the feet. And I get that's like kind of a crazy take or whatever, because Cory Sandhagen's this like otherworldly striker, but he's not though. He's not Peter Yan. He's not Sean O'Malley. He's not any of these guys. I think he's like just as good as Umar and Merab, and maybe like Prime Cejudo. Like, you guys might think I'm underrating the fuck out of Cory Sandhagen because he is a technical striker and blah blah blah. But Merab has been improving rapidly. I wouldn't be surprised. I think my official pick for this one will be like Merab TKO or submission in the fourth round once he really starts pouring it on. I'm a massive Merab fan. I just want to get this out of the way. He's in my channel banner. He's my guy. This is a newer channel, so there's no way that nobody would know about my history with Merab. I have been a Merab fan for forever. I've been a fan when he was taking Brad Catonazo. I was arguing for No, bro, he made it to the bell versus Ricky Simone. He should have gotten that win. He was up on the scorecards, 29-28. Like, I am a Merab guy. I was the guy like, yeah, fuck yeah, you do smudge Aldo's bitch ass up against the cage. Yeah, you don't fight for the belt. You're a great guy. You're a great friend. Like so many people were pissed off. Oh, why won't he fight Aljo? Why won't he fight Aljo? I was like, yeah, he's a great dude. This is him being a fucking phenomenal guy. I was like his performance versus Piotr Jan was fucking sweet when he was like he was picking up and dunking fucking Henry Cejudo, like hit everything. I picked him to beat O'Malley. I've picked him in every fight. I have not picked against Merab in my entire time watching the sport. Think I was not quite a UFC fan when he was fighting Frankie Sains, or at least not a hardcore one. But I picked him versus Ricky Simone. So far, because what Merab is, I believe he's 13-1 and 13-2 in the UFC, maybe 12-2, 11-2, something like that. And I think it's 13-2. So I've only picked one of his fights wrong ever, and there is controversy there. He should have beaten that boy. Ricky Simone, but I'm not here to argue that fucking 7 years later. I've picked him in every one of his fights, and I don't plan on changing that. I think that Merab is the fucking man, dude. I think that Merab is going to absolutely bulldoze Sandhagen. Merab and Jiri are my two favorite fighters of all time, so I will be doing a lot to make it to this card. I don't know what the tickets look like right now, like price wise, but I will be there. And I will be rocking my fucking. I have my Merab shirt in the wash because I was catching a lift in it the other day. But I got my Yuri shirt on right now, bro. I will be there blazing like crazy. Hey, maybe, maybe this fucking channel takes off and your boy could get a press pass. No, I'm kidding. But I will be there. Fucking, I will not miss that shit, dude. I'm happy they're back on the same card. They went to that little Raiders game on UFC 311. That was a sick card. I picked Merab and Yuri on that card. Man, I'm just so happy the UFC put together some legit stuff. Like I said, Sandhagen poses some good threats. He's a great scrambler. He really is. He gave Umar problems in the wrestling, but so did Merab. Way more problems than Sandhagen. Um, and I think he's really competent. Let's not forget Merab was spinning fucking Umar's chin back, like fucking twisting this guy's jaw. He was giving him issues. He was not scared of O'Malley on the feet, especially in the second fight. He was tagging the fuck out of O'Malley. He tagged O'Malley more than O'Malley tagged him. He outstruck O'Malley. He did. He outstruck Umar in rounds, 3, 4, and 5. But we move. I think that he outstrikes Sandhagen. I think that he outwrestles Sandhagen. I think he gasses him out, and I think he finishes him in round 4. I'm picking my boy, Merab Dvalishvili. The man. How many fucking people have a Merab t-shirt, huh? How many people are fucking Merab fans? Like, I am like, this is my guy, bro. I feel like from watching UFC for a long time and watching MMA YouTube, everybody's got their guy. Lucas Tracy with Volk. You know, uh, fucking Guru with Aspinall. Bedtime with JDM. Got like all these guys, left lane MMA with Pantoja. All these guys got their guy. Rigo with with Ian Gary, bro. My guy is Merab Dvalishvili. I fucking love Merab. I I love the dude's personality. I love his fights. Like, bro, fuck you for calling him boring. I don't give a shit. Merab is entertaining as fuck. Like the fact that you can literally see someone break is like the most human, badass. Like that's violence. Violence is truly breaking someone. And like when you see that look in Umar's eyes in round 5, where he's like getting fucking tossed and then pointed at, and then fucking 1-2 on the jaw and wobbled, and he like looks at him after the fight, and all he can do is, I'm humble guy, but I make excuses, I break my hand, I do that, and then you see how he looks at Marab. Do you know how cool it is to look at like another man and be like, oh, he's better than me. I love that Merab does that to guys. Merab's the fucking man. This is my guy. I cannot wait for him to defend his belt versus Sandhagen. If he wants the Pantoja matchup, I promise you he'll take it and he wins it. And if not, man, Volk should be fucking scared, bro. Like, I'm telling you, Merab beats Volk. Like, I get Merab himself doesn't think so, but he also says he doesn't beat Aljo, and we all know that's not true. He's just a nice guy. He's just a humble guy. I'm expecting a Merab finish and Oh, I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in camp, guys, Joe, thank you. You drilled with me lots of times, and Sandhagen, tough opponent, but but guys, I can't wait. I can't wait, dude. I fucking love Merab. Bro, I will be there, and you best believe I'm gonna be fucking the Merab fan in that building. There Merab's getting a fan base nowadays, but hey, where were you? Where's the day ones at, bro? Where's the proof that you picked this guy? Where's the proof that you were watching the fucking Brad Katona fights? Huh? Where's the proof that you were watching him beat the fuck out of Casey Kenny? Huh? What about that? Also, you got Rob versus Frankie Sainz. Just saying. Moving on. My goat is back. Merab is my favorite champ right now, and he is my second favorite fighter of all time. But numero uno is right here. We got the Jiri shirt on. We're repping. I am a Jiri Prochazka fan to ridiculous levels. I have never picked a Jiri fight wrong. Oh no, I did. I picked Jiri versus Alex one wrong. But aside from that, I have never picked a Jiri fight wrong. I picked Alex to beat him the second time. I had a lot of fucking money on that fight. It was like my way to cope with my favorite fighter losing. Like, oh, if he's gonna lose, I may as well get a ton of bread. But I picked him to beat Vulcan. I picked him to beat um Reyes. I picked him to beat Rackage. He was an underdog in that fight. Underdog versus Hill. I picked him in almost everything. Every fight except for Alex Pereira 2. And I've been right in all of them except for Alex Pereira 1. I think Yuri gets this one done. I do. I think he looked amazing versus Jamal Hill. The head movement was something we've never seen from Yuri to that level before. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that like Rountree poses this crazy threat to Yuri. I don't see a world where like Rountree is fucking knocking out Yuri. I don't. I think that Yuri might be the best light heavyweight on the planet, just in general. Like I think that Alex Pereira has his number, right? I think Alex Pereira is a guy, his technical kickboxing, his power, Yuri's old head movement was really bad, so he was there to get hit and fucking Pereira is a guy who he touches you and you just fucking crumble and die. Like, but you know, Rountree's not that guy. And I get he got tagged up by Hill, but his head movement was good and he got dropped in that fight, blah blah blah. But he finished it and it was a sick fight. I do think that he like I will sit here and be sound delusional and tell you that Yuri Prochazka, who's 0-2 versus the number one contender, is the best light heavyweight in the world. I'm picking him to beat Magomed. I'm picking him to beat Rountree. I'm picking him to beat Old Man Blachowicz. He already beat Rackage, already beat Hill. I'd pick him to fucking kill Olberg, who we'll talk about in a minute. Um, I'd pick him versus just about anybody. uh, I really would. And honestly, he's a bad matchup for Pereira now that he has head movement. Just saying. But yeah, I'm a big Yuri guy, and that's the thing. I think that he is in that upper echelon with the Pereiras and the Ankalaevs, and I think that Roundtree isn't. I think he's in a tier with the Rackages and the old man Blahoviches and the Olbergs of the world. I don't think that he is an upper echelon light heavyweight. I will never see Roundtree getting a belt wrapped around his waist. And if he does, like God bless him, he'll prove me wrong. But I don't see it, dude. And for all the fans saying like, "Oh, why isn't it Carlos Olberg? Why isn't it Carlos Olberg?" Fuck Carlos Olberg or Los Olberg, shout out. Fuck Carlos Olberg. He doesn't deserve it. He, in my opinion, lost to Volkan Oezdemir, right? That was a robbery. I thought he clearly lost that fight. I stayed up till fucking 4 a.m. to watch that fight, so I could have been woozy. I could have been wrong. I actually have not watched it back since. But I picked Olberg and scored it for Oezdemir. So I don't think that my bias was in Oezdemir's favor. And then I thought that he lost to Leon Blachowicz. That one was a lot closer. That one you can make the point that he probably may have beaten Blachowicz, but it was close. And I gave it to Jan Blachowicz. This guy is fighting guys who are over the hill, can't get him out of there, and struggling to even outpoint these guys. He's having to rob the likes of like 41-year-old Jan Blachowicz and like at the time, like I'd say like maybe 38 Volkan Oezdemir. I could not tell you Volkan Oezdemir's age. Gun to my head, how old is Volkan Oezdemir? I'm fucking dying. Um, but I'm really excited for this one. Yuri has a good frame advantage in like height, reach. Khalil will have it in like muscle mass, density. He's a former fat guy, so he's really fucking stocky, powerful, strong. Um, The leg kicks could be a problem for Jiri. We've seen it specifically versus Rakic as well as Pereira, but I wouldn't say that Rountree has leg kicks that are as good as Rakic or Pereira, who have two of the best in the sport. He obviously beat up Jamal Hill, who's pretty susceptible to them himself. But I think that Jiri is going to be pretty unbothered by it. It's also especially because it's a 3 round fight. Maybe he's not a guy who relies on his movement. He's not super light on his feet anyway. Um, he doesn't gather a lot of power from like his footwork or anything like that. He obviously does not gather a lot of power from his footwork. He swings from the fucking hip. He's a very, very strong guy, power wise. He could be a middleweight, so obviously, like size wise, he's like a little bit. He's smaller than Roundtree, but frame wise, he's bigger. I'm a big Yuri fan. Like I said, I will do whatever the fuck to be at this shit. I love me some Yuri Prochazka. I love me some Merab. And I'm going to pick Yuri to get this one done by a TKO in round two. I think he's going to catch Roundtree, who, like I said, I don't think's that high level before the Jamal Hill loss, or win, who we're now realizing is not that good. By the way, bro, I did pick Jamal Hill in that fight. So I'm not going to sit here and act like it wasn't an impressive performance because I picked against Roundtree and he schooled him. I think I went 11-2 on that card because Obon Elliott also lost, but I got to that main event and I was feeling pretty confident. Like, oh, I only lost my one fluke. I had money on Hill. And I was wrong. I will sit here and gladly say that Roundtree is a better fighter at this stage in their careers than Jamal Hill, but he's not a better fighter than Yuri Prohaska. All right. I get why he's getting these opportunities. All right. Um, he has some connections and whatnot. Good for him. Um, but Yuri is not the guy to play with. No magic. I think he's gonna fucking murder Roundtree. And I want to say this. I really like that they are the undercard or the featured fight on an Alex Pereira Roundtree or Ankalaev card because both of the guys have history with Alex Pereira. We could get Yuri up there after beating Roundtree, hoping that Alex wins. Fuck, man. I want Alex Pereira. Fuck. Like, I'm gonna knock him out this time. And if it's Ankalaev, um, murder him. Like, fucking, I can't wait for Yuri to get on. Like, I love the fact that they actually. I think I'll talk about this a little bit with versus Gane too, because they actually got Volkov Almeida as their co-main of not co-main event, but featured fight. I love the fact that the UFC is finally getting back to what we had with Alex Pereira versus Strickland as the feature fight for Adesanya, because that gives you the opportunity to have these up and comers who have storylines and beef with the champion to have some sick press conference moments. You could also have Alex Pereira talking shit like, we could call maybe Prohaska and Roundtree his sons. He has 3 wins combined versus the two of them. But then you could even have some pretty good interactions at the media day there, at the press conference. I'm really excited for this one. I think the UFC is killing it with matchups like this. This is a sick featured fight. I'm glad we finally are back to having featured fights with stakes. I got really sick of, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer and what was it? What was this even last card? Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez was terrible. Yair versus Pitbull was shit. Um, this is like the first good one since 311 where we have actual titles. No, no, because Van versus Royval was absolutely electric, and that ended up being a title eliminator. So I can't say all that, but it means that we're finally getting back on a good track here because Yuri in his last fight as the featured fight put on an absolute fucking clinic. It was a classic. I was running around the fucking living room like a chicken with his head cut off. I was going fucking ballistic. I love Yuri Prohaska. I cannot wait for him to get in there and school Khalil Roundtree, which he will. Moving on. Alex Pereira taking on Ankalaev for the second time. And man, I don't have the best feelings about this one. I think this might be pretty similar to, Merab O'Malley too, Strickland versus DDP too. You can even go back to uh, DC versus Stipe 3. You could go back to Dillashaw versus Garbrandt. These guys who get the immediate rematches tend to not do so well. And I don't know, man. What's the path for Pereira here? Because I see maybe Ankalaev secures the takedowns in this one because he realizes, like, wow, That power in front of me was not much to be scared of. Now I could adjust the plan. Now I could get in a little bit more tight on these takedown attempts. I think he could get him down. I think there's potential to finish this fight. He was the one who did the damage in the last fight. He wobbled Pereira. Pereira, all he did was kick the calf. Like that, it's like that was all he was doing. It was like fighting your fucking annoying ass friend in UFC like 4 or 3, back when like three fucking calf kicks would brutalize you and you couldn't move, or like it was like fighting in like even in Mortal Kombat where you just keep spamming the fucking leg kicks and the guys just fucking can't move. That's pretty much what Pereira's game plan was versus Ankalaev. Ankalaev rocked him in a moment. I actually this I really fucking hate Ankalaev for this because he ruined my perfect streak. I had a streak where in men's title fights, since Yuri versus Pereira number one, I had not picked a men's title fight wrong. So I think it's like 19 or 21 fights straight. I was on. I have like receipts and everything eventually to prove it. I had a streak of picking all men's title fights correctly, and then I go, "Oh, everybody's picking Ankalaev. Everybody's picking Ankalaev." Like, bro, they're just getting behind the meme. They're just like it's like they're just going for the alternative take. Everybody's getting tired of the poetards, the annoying Pereira fans. I fucking picked Pereira. All right. And then after that, I even ended up picking Bilal to beat JDM. That one's pretty fucking shit by me. So this one threw off my mojo a little bit. But man, I think that Ankalaev gets this one done this time. I do. And I just don't think that Pereira's got it. Maybe he needs to just be not scared to just sit there and he has to throw and say, hey, maybe I get knocked out here. I almost got knocked out in the last one. But this is my legacy here. Because if not, then we're sitting here and the guy who was like a fucking meteoric rise. Saved the company last year. Was 3-0 last year. Fighter of the year shouldn't have been over Ilya Tomori, but he was. This guy who had a sick performance versus Jamal Hill saved UFC 300. Badass performance. Superstardom. All the memes, all the aura, all the edits. Then he saves 303 after McGregor pulls out versus Jiri. Knocks my boy out. Sad. Made a lot of money though. Thanks, Alex. And he fucking has this badass war with Khalil Rountree, and then he loses a fucking decision to Ankalaev. And if he does this twice, if he goes out there and loses to Ankalaev again, the hype's gone. This guy had GOAT potential, dude. Like we were talking about this guy as he could go get a third belt and be the fucking GOAT. I wasn't gonna pick him to do that, but those were fun talks. He only really lost to Izzy, and there was storyline there. And like, Izzy, himself is like a top 20 fighter of all time, so that's not the worst loss. But now he has one versus Ankalaev, and it's like, okay, now we settle the score. But like, he loses a second one. There's no way he fights for a heavyweight title. There's no way that we have any interest because like right now, I like when he was on his run, and like I won't lie, this is the problem with ranking current fighters high on your GOAT list. There was people who already had him in like the 6 range, 5 range. There was a lot of people who had him really high. People who had him even above Khabib. I wasn't ready to put him right above Khabib. That's one that like that was like right where I drew the line. I had Alex at 10. I'm not gonna spoil where I have Khabib because I will put out a GOAT list at some point. But I had Alex at 10, and actually since because of the Ankalaev loss, I dropped him because the guy who I have at 11 got another win. And that's the thing. When you were talking about these current fighters, like we were talking about Alex Pereira as GOAT of the sport potential. A lot of people were. It's just the idea of it was cool. Even if you didn't believe in it, the idea of it was cool. He loses to Ankalaev, and his story's done. His story's over. His crazy run, quickest double champ in history, highlight knockouts, the arrows, the walkout, the aura, everything. His story is done. He loses to Ankalaev. Where do you go from there? Are we fighting Carlos Ulberg? Are we fighting who the fuck are we fighting? I think that this is a make or break fight for Pereira's career, his legacy. The other day, their fucking karate combat President Awesome, President Awesome, grown man, like, he puts on cool events though, so I can't shit on him. He's a better president than Dana White. Was talking about maybe Pereira will fight there at some point. I was looking at that like, oh, what the fuck? Absolutely not. If he loses to Ankalaev, what's next? Like you're 0-2 versus Ankalaev. You're 1-1 in the UFC with Izzy, and your wins aren't aging that well. Jamal Hill's 0-2 since you fought him. Rountree, he bounced back well versus Hill, but that's all we've seen him. We'll see what Yuri continues to do. Maybe that age as well. Strickland has gotten dominated by DDP. Jan Blachowicz, that was a close split decision win. Maybe didn't even beat him. This is not where you want to be. His back's up against the wall. Pereira needs to go out there and finish Ankalaev because if not, I don't see this guy winning a decision. I don't. We need the best form of Alex Pereira. And you could hope because before all that, he was traveling. He's in Australia. He's here. He's doing all these side quests. Please lock in and finish this guy. Because the road back to the title for Ankalaev is not the same as Alex. It's not an immediate rematch. It's, oh, now I have to go fight maybe Olberg. Maybe I have to go fight Rakic off a win of Azamat Mirzakhanov and stuff. It's a bad path back to the belt for Pereira. But real quick, I will talk about Carlos Ulberg because he is kind of the odd man out in this situation. Who should he fight? Obviously, these two are booked up. You got Jiri versus Rountree. Those are like the top four guys taken up. He's like set at like number three right now. And then Yuri's two and Rountree's four. Obviously, he has already fought Jan Blachowicz, so that wouldn't really work. Rakic is booked up versus Azmat Mirzakhanov. I personally think that the right matchup to make is in the meantime, obviously, because he might even be out for a little bit longer. Because it's not like he's going to get a fight before Ankalaev or Yuri or Pereira, because their stuff's already set. I think that the best move is right around when that is made. You're obviously going to do the winner of Ankalaev Pereira versus the winner of Roundtree Yuri. That is the title eliminator. If not, you should do Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes, who has put together a good win streak, and the winner of that could either, if Pereira wins, fight for a vacant title if he moves up to heavyweight. So we have like, say Yuri beats Roundtree, and then you could have him fight the winner of Ulberg versus Reyes, or Ankalaev wins, and now you have like actual like rightful contenders in line because he'll fight probably Yuri or Roundtree, and then after that he could fight one of them. He will be out for a little while because of Ramadan, but he might be looking to fight quick, so the turnaround versus a Yuri or a Roundtree might be quick. There's a lot of interesting stuff at light heavyweight, but it does feel like Carlos Ulberg is the odd man out, and that's why it feels like Dominic Reyes is the matchup for him. I'm a big Reyes fan. I always have been, always will be. I think he's a great dude. I think he's a sick fighter. I think he beat Jones. He's a sick dude. It was like a fucking what is it? When those kids of like divorced parents are watching their parents fight and shit like that. Like that's how I felt when Yuri knocked the fuck out of Dominic Reyes. Those are my guys, dude. And Olberg's in a weird position. I hope he fights Reyes. This is just me as a Reyes fan, pretty much. Also, fuck Carlos Olberg. He's not good. He's not going to make any run. But also, real quick while I'm here, I'm going to talk about 320. Sick. We have a rematch between one of the biggest stars in the UFC trying to go get his belt back. We have Merab, who's the most dominant champ in the UFC right now, other than maybe Pantoja. It's close. And then you have Yuri versus Roundtree as a featured fight. So what do you add to this to take it over the top? Obviously, there's great storylines between the main event and the featured fight. I want similar situations with the bantamweights. I want Mario Batista versus Umar Nurmagomedov as the main card opener. This would be a badass fight. These are the two guys who are the biggest threat to Merab. Because of the fact, obviously, we saw what Merab did to Jan. That matchup does not worry me. Umar, even Dana White himself has said, "Oh, we could run that one back. That was a close fight, somewhat. Like that's an interesting matchup again." Um, I personally think that he'd have to get one. I personally think maybe two more to get that rematch because of the fact that he only won one relevant fight to get the title shot. But hey, I think that that would be a badass fight. Then you could totally market it like you did on the fucking UFC International Fight Week with Van and Pantoja, where you have the main event with the featured fight, and then you even have like obviously they had like Patty come in and face off. You could have a Marab Umar two face off, or God willing, Mario Batista beats Umar. Because like here's the thing. Mario Batista is extremely overhated. You know, he's a fucking terrorist of the sport because he held Jose Aldo up against the cage. Ooh, let's fucking make more excuses for Aldo being the fucking like best takedown defense and can't get off the goddamn cage. Plus, he's an entertaining ass fighter. We saw what he did to Patrick Mix. Watch what he did in his early career. He's really entertaining. And I think, as a Merab super fan, I think that Mario Batista is probably the hardest matchup for him, aside from Umar, obviously. Like he's right there with Umar as like the second hardest matchup. He deserves to jump up the rankings. He just offended the UFC name by saying, "Oh, this guy who is the man over in Bellator just fucking beat the shit out of him. I'm 11 in the world, and I just did that to him. Give him a jump up, bro." And then that justifies an Umar rematch. To me, it does. I would be cool with a Merab Umar rematch if he beat Mario Batista. Or in the bantamweight division, it's so fucking stagnant. Merab's beat O'Malley twice. He's beat Umar. He's beat Jan. He's gonna beat Cory Sandhagen. He's beat all Henry Cejudo. He's beat all these guys to the point where it damn near warrants stuff where when Pereira was on his dominant run, where you get a number 8 Khalil Rountree. I think that if we did Song Yadong versus Mario Batista as this guy's next, that'd be pretty fucking sweet. Or, have Marcus McGee on standby ready if he beats Peter Yan because, that's pretty much earning a title shot at bantamweight now. Um, Either way, I think that you should have some compelling bantamweight matchup as like a main card opener. I think that should be any combination of Umar, Yadong, and Mario Batista. I don't think Vinicius Oliveira is ready for the jump up yet, despite being a big Vinicius Oliveira fan. I don't think he's quite there. I don't want to see Rob Font get the jump up. That wouldn't really make sense. Maybe even I think if he gets the jump up, it should be as like a tune-up versus O'Malley. I think that we should have a featured bantamweight fight there, so Merab has a clear this guy's next. And we could have a cool face-off. It'll do some numbers. It'll hype up the fight, just like Van versus Pantoja. I think that'd be sick. On top of that, you have guys like Paulo Costa saying he wants to turn around. We don't know what that matchup will look like because everybody's booked up at middleweight right now. But he says, I want to be back October, November. Get him on the card. Wouldn't hurt. I want all ranked fights on the main card. I want a sick uh opener to like I want a good fight to open up the main card. So the last fight of the prelims, I was thinking even maybe like Dan Ige looking to bounce back against Chepe Mariscal, or even on the main card if we wanted to do like uh Patricio Pitbull versus an Arnold Allen or an Arnold Allen. Pretty much in general, he's been out for over a year now. Where's Arnold Allen at? But and his last win was over, I believe, Giga Chikadze, so it's not like his shit holds up. So that would be a big name, get some stuff moving at featherweight a little bit. I think that we should just have compelling matchups all on the main card. I think we should obviously, they've done great with light heavyweight title fight, light heavyweight featured fight. I think we should do a bantamweight, obviously title fight, and then we have somewhere else on that main card, you know, Yadong Mario Batista, Yadong Umar, or Umar Batista, anything like that would be sick. I also think that we should just get one other good ranked matchup. That's a Paulo Costa. That's a cool unranked or not even unranked, just ranked flyweights. There's a lot of good potential. It does not have to be that crazy. I just want actual fun, compelling fights because October is the time to be a UFC fan right now. We have UFC 320 on the 4th, and then on the 25th, we get Gane probably defeating or Tom defeating Cyril Gane. Jesus, can't talk right now. But it's the time to be a UFC fan. Just like last year, it was Alex Pereira and Ankalaev, or Alex Pereira and Rountree, and then after that, we had Topuria versus um Holloway with Whitaker and Hamzat as like the co-main event. So we have a lot of sick matchups lately in October. It feels like obviously early in the year you have a lot of stagnation and all that, but then you finally get it going, and like this October time is like best time to be a UFC fan. And I think that we should stack the prelims with either fun fights, big prospects, or even other ranked fighters. I really like the idea of just having fun fights with stakes on the prelims. Make 320 huge. It's the Alex Pereira comeback fight. He just had his like little dip. Make it huge. Build up the fucking storylines with Jiri and Roundtree and somebody who's a real matchup for Merab. Real beef, real interest. We're right there. We're about to capture it. We're about to get back to where we need to be in the mainstream, where we had this horrible stretch. UFC 312 was garbage. UFC 313 was mid. 314 was good. 315 was terrible. Like the JDM fight was fun, but like what else? You know? 316 was like it was all right, but everybody knew that Merab was going to do that to O'Malley. And then like what was the co-main event even? Kayla versus like it was two predetermined outcomes. Merab and Kayla were winning that every single time. So I really want the UFC to just like they got this lightning in a bottle right now and they need to just capture it and put together a badass 320 card. And why not also put together a badass 321 card? You got what is it? There's 8 divisions, 15 fighters in each. That's like 130 male champs in the UFC that you or not champs, ranked fighters that you could put on a card at any given time. Stack this shit. Stack 321. Speaking of 321, Tom Aspinall is back for his first defense of the heavyweight belt versus Cyril Gane, and I hate this. There's no other matchup for Tom Aspinall, and it sucks. His greatness is going to hurt him just like it did Demetrius Johnson. We're going to talk about this guy fighting nobodies because he already cleared out the division. He's going to defend the belt quite a bit. And the problem here is Cyril Gane just came off a robbery win over Volkov. Before that, he was filming fucking uh like orgies with Rudy Gobert or some shit in France. I don't know what the fuck that was going on with Gon, but he was out for a long time. Like got his ass beat by Jones. I think he might have gotten one back versus Spivak, so he might be on a 2 fight win streak. But then he robbed Volkov, and now he's in the title shot. And this is a lose lose for Aspinall. It is. That's the simple truth. Aspinall wins this fight, and maybe he takes Gon to the second round. Oh, Jones did it better. Oh my God. God forbid Gon goes out there and starches Aspinall or catches him or anything that's a win for Gon. Oh my God, dude, this is the guy they were saying beats the GOAT. What the fuck? This is why he doesn't mess with the young, hungry up and comers. Bones Jones, he listens to, he knows what's right. Like, he knows it would be a fucking travesty if Gon won this fight. And like how they'll be talking even if Aspinall doesn't do it as well or as impressive as Jones. He needs to go out there and knock out Gon in a minute. And then after that, it's like, what's next? One thing I really do appreciate is 321. They're also doing what they did with 320 because Volkov versus Almeida is going to be the featured fight. That's clearly a title eliminator. That's really good, but they also have room for a co-main event. Might be a Van Pantoja. That might also be a number one contenders fight in another division. That could be a Volk Evloev, especially now that the Pico fight is off. That could be pretty much anything. There's a good chance. Shit, with how Merab's about to fucking dispose of Sandhagen, he could turn around and fight in 2 weeks after that. Because what that is like 21 days right after. But no, I'm kidding. But there are some fun fights that you could toss as the co-main event. I'm not going to talk about this one as much because I was just talking about how important it is for the UFC to build up the undercard, but I do feel bad for Aspinall. Just had a year of his career punted by John Jones. Could have got the John Jones fight. That would have been one of the biggest fights in UFC history. The UFC was willing to oblige. John Jones just absolutely fucking screwed the pooch, screwed the company, screwed his own legacy, screwed Tom Aspinall's legacy. And now we have a heavyweight division very reminiscent of DJ in the 2010s. I worry about Aspinall's legacy because it's going to be repeat fights. It's going to be, well, he just got rid of Curtis Blades. His only loss is Curtis Blades' two-knee injury in 15 seconds. This guy has beat everybody. He beat Tybura, beat Spivak, beat Volkov by Kimura, beat Pavlovich by knockout, beat Curtis Blades by knockout, beat Arlovsky, choked him out. It is bad to be out Tom Aspinall right now because there's no new legacy. There's no one compelling. There's nothing, especially if Volkov beats Almeida. But I in this fight, I got Aspinall. I think that he's going to knock out Gon. I hope he could get it done in the first round. I'd say maybe Tom Aspinall in the first like 3 minutes. I think he can catch Gon. Because here's the thing, I'm a big Tai Tuivasa fan. Tai Tuivasa was one of my fucking favorite fighters of all time. He's my favorite active heavyweight still. If that guy can drop you, what the fuck is Tom Aspinall going to do? I think Derek Lewis has a better chance of beating Aspinall than Cyril Gane because at least Tom Aspinall like leaves his chin out there, but like Gane's not like this like disgusting knockout threat. Like he's not, dude. Like Derek Lewis, like the what, like 10 in 100 chance, like the 1 in 10 chance that he fucking catches Aspinall on the chin is better than Gane's chance of doing whatever the fuck he plans to do. I don't see the path for Gane to win this fight. It would be weird as shit if Gane was able to pull this one out. I'm picking Aspinall first round knockout. I hope they build the card around this. really well. I hope we get a good co-main event. Maybe it could be a Paddy Pimblett. Maybe it could even be Max Holloway. He didn't take that much damage. Like he got dropped, but Max Holloway versus Hooker, who's been on the shelf for a while for the BMF. Because you're guaranteed a knockout in the main event, may as well have a sick scrap in the co-main. We have all kinds of stuff that could happen. Gaethje could legitimize a title shot by fighting Hooker and as the co-main event, like he was originally supposed to, or he could fight Patty. Patty would be good because Patty, you got Patty versus Aspinall, or Patty and Aspinall are like boys, and that would be a good one. Um, I don't even know, man. I don't know what the route is here for this card. Obviously, Aspinall Gane's good, but whenever you have like those heavyweight main events, like they're not going to last long, so you have to put like a good co-main event to make sure that you get a good long six scrap. So I hope they put together a fun fight. Even Arm and Patty, just get a clear number one contender, anything like that. I would really like it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know who you guys think wins in these fights down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys do think because there's a chance the people out there, some reason might think that Sandhagen beats Merab. I want to hear your opinions on that. There's some people who might think that Jiri loses to Rountree. That's more like a legitimate take. And there might be some poetards out there that would love to tell me about why Alex Pereira is gonna fucking improve and do so much better in the second fight, which I hope he does. I'm not an Alex Pereira hater. I just am really worried for his chances, but make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Later this week, I will be dropping a video on the state of the heavyweight division. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for that and like and subscribe. Peace.